What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the X-Transbots Conechrome, or their version of a Masterpiece Scale Slugslinger. I got this one from Augie G. Thanks for sending your copy. He actually sent a bunch of other things as well, so we'll be taking a look at some of those King toys and New Age figures as well. Now, a couple of caveats. Number one, shout out and thanks to all the people who send me stuff for review. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have a channel going right now. And X-Transbots is one of those figures, or one of those companies where I've just decided to scale back myself. I kind of pick and choose, which characters I'm going to buy. And I wasn't getting this one, so thanks to Augie for offering up his copy. I actually own quite a few. I have 13 X-Transbots or KFC figures in my collection. Some of them are, characters that only they've made, like Run Amok and Runabout. And, I appreciate Keith being able to take a risk and make characters that are more unique and maybe, not as popular, because without him, we wouldn't be getting characters like this. With that being said, I did try my best to give this figure a fair shake. So number one, I did change my background so you can see the paint contrast a little bit better, because it's hard to show on a white background, and the paint is beautiful. Number two, I tightened some things. So I tightened the screws here on the feet, which is an issue we'll talk about a little bit later. I also loosened the screws a little bit on these thighs. It was just way too tight. And I have not yet transformed this. And one of the reasons I haven't is I want to give you a good look at the robot mode without any of the issues of having transformed it, having things get loose. I will talk about that in the final recommendations if something changes on me in terms of the robot mode or in terms of stability or whatever. But right now I haven't transformed it, just to give it as much of an advantage as possible in the review. All right, so let's first take a look at the paint on this figure. It is painted beautifully. Got metallic red eyes. We have metallic blue paint. I'm not sure if it's paint infused plastic or just painted plastic, but it looks very good. You have a pearlescent white. Hopefully that's showing up on camera. My light might be too bright. Yellow and black paint here for the chest. It does have good looking paint. By the way, out of the box, you want to pull forward on these knee pads. Here's the back. Backpack is also painted well. You got more of that black and yellow. That looks good. Profile is pretty slim. I'm impressed how compact this thing gets with entire jet on its backpack. So, that is impressive. All right, let's go over articulation. And there are some things to talk about here, some concerns, but the head is on a rotating swivel, so it goes down to there, up to there. Not that much, honestly. It does rotate all the way around. Decent looking head sculpt. I like that. Shoulder rotated around a ratchet joint. This seems odd. It's like unnecessarily tight ratchet joint. Also, the detents are pretty far apart. I'm not sure we needed that, but it does work. Up to the side, up to there, for the shoulder pad kind of hits. Butterfly joint built in. So that's nice. Rotation at the bicep. You do have a double jointed elbow, gets you the full bend. You have a little bit of paint here on the bottom of that joint to cover up, where that joint starts. So that works well. The hands, the wrists rotate. They can move in and out. I really don't like the design of these hands. I think it's time for them to update the design. On the Constructicons, I said they're okay. They work. But honestly, they're not great. This, first of all, why does it go out this much? It's just irritating that it moves so easily. And then the fingers, the bottom three are pinned together, so that's okay. The top one is separate, but then it's curled. So, it's not even a straight finger. And then the thumb, this hinge is very delicate, so you got to be careful with it, the up and down hinge. And it's on two pins. And sometimes when it's painted like this, it gets caught up on the paint. So yeah, in general, I don't love the hands, but you do get articulation out of it, so it does work. Rotation at the waist on friction joint. Ab crunch right here. That gets you down to there. which is pretty good. A lot of figures now are coming without ab crunch, so appreciate them working that in there. There we go. I was trying to get there's a little bit extra out of that. Get you down to there. Hip skirts will move out of the way. Legs will kick up to there on a ratchet joint. There is die cast in the thigh, die cast in the foot, die cast in the shoulder, and I believe some of the inner hard brim will be die cast as well. So it's quite hefty down here, but it holds just fine. Back to here. Out to the side on a friction joint. This is the one I loosened the screw because it was just too tight. It's still a little too tight, but I'd rather it be tight than loose and falling down. So coming down to the legs, the knees, we have a double jointed knee on a ratcheted joint. So that works really well. And then you have ankle tilts, very limited, almost nothing. That's one issue with these feet, is there's almost non-existent ankle tilt. And then the forward and backward is on this screw. And that screw gets loose over time. The other half is on a pin. And that pin currently is not too loose, but I can see over time that getting loose, and there's no way to tighten it. Just not a great foot design in general. Now, like I said, I tightened those screws and I haven't transformed it yet, and it's not too bad. Like, it's not falling down. My suggestion, my recommendation is to rotate the thighs out like that. If you have it straight, it tends to, be back heavy. And once it fails, it fails. I mean, like, the foot has no hold to it. But I guess I can say, at least out of the box new, if you rotate the legs and you tighten those screws, you can get it to stand pretty easily, I'm going to do the Keith test. So at least before transformation, it does work okay. All right, now let's take a look at the accessories for this guy. And we do get this very nice Target Master done in purple, metallic purple, and silver paint. And then you got chrome for the cannon, which looks really good. You have red for the visor, orange for the face. And they've been doing a pretty good job on these Target Masters. The head can rotate around. It's a little tight to the paint, but it does work. There's a little bit of like, what do you call it? Like release oil on it. So it is a little bit oily, but rotates around on a ball joint, out to the side, up to there, on a hinge and a ball joint. A little bit of butterfly because of that. You have a 90-degree bend at the elbow. No waist rotation, but you have an ab crunch just due to the transformation. You can get down to there. Legs will kick up to there, back to there, out to the side. Rotation at the thigh. Single jointed knee, but it gets you the full bend just due to the transformation. And no ankle tilts, although it is kind of pre-posed, but you do get a forward and backward movement on the toe. So pretty good looking Target Master. We're going to transform him into gun mode. So first we'll lift back on this gun piece here. And you want to open up this little cover. Allow you to lift this over the head and cover up the head. Then we'll take the legs, bend the ab crunch. So you get this straight back. Put the leg down and then rotate this down. This is going to plug into the arm. There's a little slot in the arm and a tab at the end of the foot. So get that lined up. And you can adjust the arm. And it's on a ball joint, so if it pops up, put it back on. But adjust that up or down until you get this plugged in here. And same for the other side. Push the leg down, fold that over, and plug that into the arm. And there is your Target Master. It's pretty good looking, I think overall it's a decent one. Now, one thing, this handle doesn't really go in the hand. And I had the same complaint with their misfire. I want to put it in the hand. You should have the option to do it because it seems like it was simple enough to just put a couple tabs. There's even a slot in the hand for a tab. But because there's no tab on this, whoops, and there's the issue with the ankles, but because there's no tab, you can't really put it in the hand. But the intention is really to, close up the fingers, close up the fist, open up this panel here, and fold that hand in, close that back up, and now you'll see there's a port here, and that will fit this. So you can display it like this. Now, I don't mind that look. I think it looks pretty good. But it's too heavy. The die cast in the Target Master is too heavy for the elbow joint, which is a friction hinge. They put a nice ratchet joint here, but no ratchet joint in the elbow. So, sometimes it holds, but it often just falls down. So that's unfortunate. So two things. One, I wish they had the ability to hold this handle with the hand. But two, it really should be stronger at the elbow to be able to hold on to that Target Master. All right, we also get an alternate face for this guy, and recommend a spudger to get under the chin and pop off this face. It does have the metallic red eyes there built into the head. Then pop on the new face, and we get this kind of smirking or grinning face. That looks pretty good. I'll leave that on there. All right, for size comparison, there it is next to the Magic Square version of Optimus Prime. Comes up to about his eyes, so good size for the MP scale. And another comparison here it is with the Make Toys Contact Shot, their version of Point Blank. Man, what an old figure here. But yeah, he goes well with some of the other Target Masters that we have in our collections. We don't have that many, to be honest. So X-Transbots filling out our collection with the missing ones. All right, now let's get this guy transformed into vehicle mode. And before we do that, I just want to mention, it doesn't come with any instructions. And if you look at the bottom of the box, there are some QR codes here. And I scanned several of them. These two, Bilibili, Weibo, and YouTube. None of them lead you to a video that shows you transformation. So there are no instructions. I find that very strange that they would have put out this figure without instructions. I mean, there are reviews out there, and I used Make Motions because that's the only video I could find. But that is not the official instruction manual. So it's very strange. But one of the things that I'm going to go over is things that were missed. At least in Make Motion's video. I haven't watched every video out there, but that was the first one to come out because he got a preview of the product. And I'll just address some of the things that he missed. There are some things you want to be careful with, but overall the transformation is very straightforward and simple. Let's start with the arms. Lift up the arms, open up this panel. Make sure the hand is collapsed down like this. Rotate this in, and then close up that panel. I'm going to rotate the arm so you have this facing downwards, a little tab down here. Rotate this all the way up, and then you're going to grab the shoulder pad, which is clipped in right here. Just clips in and locks in there. Bring this down, and then this will plug into the wing. So that tab I told you about, there's a slot here on the wing. Go ahead and plug that into there. And now you go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. I'll do it off camera. Be right back. All right, now that we've got the arms taken care of, we'll take care of the legs. And there are some little tricky things to watch out for. So come to the feet, fold this down. We're going to rotate this panel in. And then this is going to fold inwards to the foot. To get it back out, you just see it's down here. So you can just push it back out from here. Then once you have it down like that, we can rotate this to the back. And leave that there. Fold in your knee pad. And we'll do the same thing on this side. Since it's quick, I'll just do it on camera. Fold that in, rotate that up, and just get that folded down. Straighten up your knee pad. And now we're going to open up the chest. So we're going to open up the head. And this panel kind of holds on with these two tabs right here. Then we're going to open this up. Then we can accordion the legs down on this, and then you can see it extended down here. And what we're going to do is collapse the legs down. So hold up here and push in on the leg so it slides up on the thigh. Make sure it slides up all the way. Same with this one, slide that up. Then we're going to take care of this front section so that we can accordion this back in. We're going to rotate these out, and actually we're going to fold out these ab pieces, and that'll give you clearance. This is a very tight tolerance, so just be careful with all this. And rotate this out, and then we got to rotate this one back. And I want you to note how this is configured. You can see the two blue pieces are sitting on top of each other. It has to go exactly like that when you put it back in, so just be careful with that. So rotate this one back in. And then for this one, you're going to open up these on the sides. Gives you enough clearance to open up this nose cone. And then you can bring these back in. They'll tab in on the sides and on the back as well. You can tab that all together. It should be just blue once you're done tabbing it together. And then you're going to push here to lift up this panel. And if you don't get it all the way, you can grab a spudger and help it out a little bit. Should be flush there. Then we can take care of this one. So same thing, fold this out, open up these two panels, enough to get the nose cone out, close these back up and tab them together. Tab this panel up and into the bottom here. So that just basically connects the two. And then fold this out, and if you need a little bit of help, you can grab a spudger and pop that panel up. So it looks like that. All right, come to the other side, and these two nose cones will now clip into here. So just push them together and tab them in here and here. And I think I drew blood somewhere along the way. Not sure where. But no matter, we'll keep going. Come to the legs, and this is a tricky part. It's not explained well in at least the Mang Motion video. You're going to collapse this down and come to this side, open these up. These two blue pieces have to clip into here. So make sure you've pushed this all the way down as far as it'll go in. And up here, they should clip in on both sides. There's a little tab. There's a circle tab and a rectangular tab. If you don't do that, you'll have trouble later, but there it is. I got both tabbed in. That really locks everything into place and makes it solid. Bring the foot up, fold that right there. And once you have that clipped in, the placement is perfect. You don't need to worry about where these feet are. This will come down and lock in on top of that and clip into the top of the wings. Come back to down here and we'll finish this up. Rotate your head around. Bring this down. This should fit. Oh, actually, we got to close this. Little subtle thing, but you got to close that. Otherwise, it won't fit here. All right, bring that down. Tab it in right here. That's the tab I was talking about. I think that's where I cut myself. But clip that in there. And then bring your headpiece down. This will clip into here between the two nose cones. It should actually lock in place. There we go. That took a little bit of doing, but it should lock in place there. Then we can pull open the landing gear. Back here, the landing gear is a little bit different. You're going to lift up this panel, then fold this out. Then you can close that back up. Same here. Lift this up, fold that out, close that back up. All right, there is Conechrome in jet mode. And I think this looks really good. I love the dark blue and white, translucent blue for the cockpits. Our seats there. You get that yellow and black intakes there. It does have landing gear. It rolls on those landing gear just fine. Here's the back. You have the boosters. That all looks great. It's solid, you know, it doesn't come apart. It feels, you know, pretty well made. It's just getting here, you know, without instructions is definitely a challenge. You want to pop open these, you can. A little tricky. There we go. This one's giving me trouble. Oh, there we go. All right. So you can see the inside has some gunmetal paint for the seats and the cockpit. That looks really good. It's very well done. And you can just close those up. And of course, we can bring in the Target Master. And I guess, you know, maybe I was a little too harsh on not having tabs for this panel, because this is really meant to plug in here. So their intent is in robot mode, it only plugs in the wrist. I just prefer if they gave you the option to plug it in the hand. But that looks really good. The fact that you can plug the Target Master there in the top, fantastic. All right, for size comparison, there it is next to the MP10 Optimus Prime. It does seem a little bit small, but it does scale with the Masterpiece Collection. I just think it could stand to be a little bit longer. And here's a comparison that might be more helpful. Here's MP52 Starscream. And you can see, you know, he's shorter in length, shorter in height, and in width. So he is a little bit smaller than the jets, you know, from a Masterpiece Collection. I think it's okay, but I could stand to be a little bit bigger. So final recommendations on the X-Transbots Conechrome. And unfortunately, this is another mixed bag for me. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 partial recommendation. And let me talk about what this does well. It is absolutely beautiful in both robot and vehicle mode. The paint job is phenomenal. The metallic blue, the pearlescent white, the purple on the you know, Target Master, the silver, the yellow, and the black. I mean, all the paint is done very well. And I'm trying to be careful not to knock it over. Articulation is also pretty top notch. You get pretty much everything you'd want. Some extras in there too, ab crunch, butterfly joints, you know, little things that you don't always expect are in there as well. Even the Target Master has plenty of articulation. Where it falls down is the feet. And X-Transbots tends to do this. They get it to 99, 95%, and then they forget the 5%. And that 5% is really important. So these feet have two issues. One, the ankles in this direction are very loose. And it doesn't matter, I've tightened these, it doesn't help, because there's a pin here and there's a screw here, and it's just not tight enough to hold it. There's a lot of die casts, okay? The other thing is the foot will not sit flat on the floor unless you have it just in a straight A stance. Both of the feet leave a gap between the bottom of the foot and the floor because there's not enough ankle tilt this way. You can go up this way, but I mean, that's not enough. So just double flaw with the ankle leads to a stability issue in robot mode. And that's what the Mang Motion and, you know, Keith controversy was about, right? He was stating that it wasn't stable, and it's true. You know, it's not stable. A gust of wind is going to knock this over. Is it beautiful? Yes. Is it the best Slugslinger we've ever gotten? Yes. But, you know, you just got to be aware of issues like that. But that's it for today. Thanks to Augie G for sending the review. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
TM Reviews. What's up, YouTube fans?